Guys, what's up? How's it going? It's John, Gamester81. Super excited to share with you guys this Odroid unit. What this is, it's an emulator unit. And think of it like a Raspberry Pi, but the Odroid can do so much more than a Raspberry Pi. This kit also looks, as you can see, it looks very similar to like a mini N64. I don't know how hard you can see from the video here, but there's a screen there, and whatever platform you're playing, the image of that system appears there, which I think is really cool. The kit cost me 24 bucks. Goes for 24 bucks now. The Odroid board itself goes for about 90. You can get it on Amazon. The kit, I'll put a link below for those who are interested. It's a little over 100 bucks investment. What this thing can do though, it blows me away. It can play over 55 different gaming platforms really well, including the Saturn. If you can see here behind me is actually Panzer Dragoon playing on the Saturn. And you can see it's just running really good. Let's take a closer look. I've got the volume turned down, of course, because of this video, but Saturn's been very hard to emulate for years. And later in this video, I'll show you more on other platforms what it looks like. But yeah, you can see it just perfect HDMI. Anyway, really fun game. Let's exit out of there. So yeah, I'll show you more on other games as well, including other Saturn games later in the video. Super excited about this product. Up front there, you have two USB ports. I'm playing this with I got this Gamers Tech, like a PS2 clone controller. Let me exit out of this real quick. And let's see, on the back, it has a micro SD card slot. So right now I have 128 gig. I believe it goes up to like a 256 gig SD card. Power supply, HDMI, cable. It's got a connector in there for internet. Big shout out to my friend Kirk as well, who's got a YouTube channel here, Cubert Addict 1. I'll put a link below to his channel. He's part of a group called the Aura Group. It's an Odroid Retro Arena group, and what they do is they build images, which is the one I'm about to show you now. So if you want more information on the Odroid itself and how to put something with these together with their image, I encourage you guys to join their Patreon, check them out. But without any further ado, let's take a closer look. Thanks for watching. First platform I want to show you is the arcade classics. There's actually over 2,000 arcade games on here currently. I want to show you Aliens vs. Predator. It's a classic Capcom beat 'em up arcade game. Came out in the 90s. This is when Capcom was working on Final Fight and a lot of the other classic beat 'em ups at the time. And this is definitely one to check out if you haven't played this game already. You see the load times isn't too bad actually, and it plays pretty quickly. Hit select to add credits, just like putting quarters into the arcade. What's really cool about the system is, since it is HDMI and it's HD, visually the game will look better and it'll sound better, opposed to playing it on the original platform on a standard television, for example. Definitely a really fun game. Check out. Start to select to exit, and then B is to go back. Here you can scroll through the different platforms. As I mentioned before, there's 55 different platforms on this particular build. One that does not include it is Nintendo DS. I have played the Nintendo DS emulator on this system. It works great. I don't have it currently on this build, but I can contest it does play fairly well. And you can get like a controller with a keyboard and touch controller, and it works great, actually. Lynx is one of my favorite handhelds. Bought the Lynx when it first came out. Blue Lightning is a really fun game. I'm going to show you here what it looks like. This has got the scan filters. You can add filters by going to the options screen. You can add different overlays as well. Scan lines definitely make it look like it's playing on a classic TV, or in this case, a classic screen for the Lynx. Lynx was definitely overshadowed by the Nintendo Game Boy. You can see the different overlays. You can add different options, a ton of different filters for each platform. And you can go through, you can change the controls. You can do the save states and load state. That's another benefit of playing emulator. I guess you can save the game at any point in the game. There's also button commands to do that also as well. This is the Naomi Wave. This game right here, Dolphin Blue. I'd never played this game before, and I was blown away on how fun this game is up until recently. And it's kind of like Metal Slug, but for me, it's a step up from Metal Slug, and I'm not dissing Metal Slug. I love the Metal Slug series, but this is a system, this platform, I guess the Naomi was built by Sega. Looks like M. Bison a little bit for Street Fighter, but this is a game by Sammy. It came out in 2003, and this game blew me away. I was playing quite a bit the other day. Just visually, it looks amazing. It's definitely aged very well, considering it came out 15 years ago, which is crazy. It makes me feel old. Really Really fun run and gun. And what's unique about this game right here, Dolphin Blue, is parts of it are run and gun and parts of it is straight up shooter. So it kind of changes off back and forth, and it's super addicting. So if you like Metal Slug, this is definitely a series, a game to check out. It's called Dolphin Blue. You can ride a dolphin, you can swim underwater. It's just, the game is so much fun. I might do a review on it at some point because it, again, just blown away by it. And it runs smooth. No frame drops or anything like that. And visually in HD, it looks amazing. ColecoVision. Daphne is kind of like Dragon's Lair and those type of games. Dreamcast plays really good on here. I have a handful of Dreamcast games on here. I'll show you Daytona USA. This is the USA version. Again, load times aren't too bad. I really love the Dreamcast. It came out in 1999, and it just, I think it came out too early. Too it was time. A lot of people pirated the games for it, and once the PS2 came out, kind of blew it out of the water. But you can see at the bottom right there, that's a VMU. Actually, there's actually they've added a VMU screen as if you were to have a VMU on here, which is pretty cool. And you'll see in a second the screen will actually appear. And realize it has Hasbro Interactive and kind of helped produce this game. I'm kind of interesting to know that. Or maybe help with distribution, but you can see the Daytona USA there in the bottom right corner. That's the VMU. It was a really cool concept to have VMUs and stuff for Sega. Very cool. A lot of great arcade ports of the Dreamcast. Highly recommend the system itself. One of my favorite consoles, absolutely. And it's aged really well. Great games are still really fun to play and look great. This is obviously based on the arcade port. And it's a really good arcade for the Dreamcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
Sega made so many of these great racers, from Outrun to, I mean, they were just the king of these racing games, the arcade, and they did a really good job with it. Once again, you can see there are no frame drops. It really runs really smooth. Change the view here. Plays great. The next platform I want to show you is Game & Watch. This is not just Game & Watch, but it's a lot of these LCD handheld games that came out in the 80s. And this is probably one of my favorite emulator because actually it looks like you're playing the real thing. I have not just Game & Watch on here, but there's other LCD companies. And nothing from Tiger Electronics per se, but this one's from Coleco. This is the Donkey Kong tabletop. I had this as a kid. I still have it, actually. You can see here, it just looks really cool. Really a fan of this, and just play it like you're playing the real thing. Sounds and looks just like the real thing. I don't have time to show you every emulator and every platform because there's so many. It'd be a really long video, but I want to show you the top ones anyway. This is Sega Saturn. This emulator has been really hard to emulate for years for Saturn, and the Odroid handles it flawlessly. It's really great. 1080p, 60 frames per second. I'll show you. This is Dracula. This is Castlevania. Load time's not too bad. The Saturn is definitely a great system, overshadowed by the original PlayStation, unfortunately, but a lot of great games for it. It makes me sad looking at Konami now, where they are now and back then. This is like their prime, man. They were so on fire, doing some great games, and it's a shame where Konami is today, I'll be honest. I'm going to start it. The sound is amazing. And one thing too, guys, is these CDs, a lot of people may not realize, but CDs, there is such a thing as CD rot. And unfortunately, CDs over time, and DVDs to an extent as well, will rot. And the protective coating over them will rot. And the games, there'll be a point in history or in time that we won't be able to play these CDs anymore. So it's cool that these games are being preserved, in my opinion, that people are able to play these games through devices like this and preserve history and gaming history. That's what I'm excited about more than anything else, is that future generations will be able to play these games through emulation that is quality emulation, as if you were playing the real thing. Really cool intro. Now this game, Symphony of the Night, was ported to the PlayStation 1, or what a lot of people consider PSX. Always annoys me that people call it PSX, but whole another different story. But this was ported to the PS1. However, the Saturn version was never ported to North America. And there's slightly different versions between this and the PlayStation 1 version. The Saturn version, you choose your own character from the very beginning, rather than, you know, unlocking them later in the game. But music's great. I've never really beaten this game, to be honest with you. This is definitely a game I want to check out. And it is a fairly uncommon game because it was never released in North America here on the Saturn. So it's cool that you're able to play it in North America now through emulation. Go and exit this. I'll show you another game for the Saturn. I'll show you Panzer Dragoon. Now this is not Panzer Dragoon Saga, which is a really rare game. I could certainly play that on here. I don't have that ROM on this particular build. But you could play Panzer Dragoon Saga. I played it on the Odroid, and it does play great. But I just want to show you Panzer Dragoon, which has been a game that's been, you know, buggy with emulation because it's been hard to emulate. I just want to show you how the Odroid handles it. This is another series of games I've not put much time into, I'll be honest. I had a Saturn. I have a Saturn now, currently. And I played it occasionally, but not as much as I'd like. There's a lot of good games for it, and it's hard to find games for it without going to like eBay or anything like that. It's hard to find games in the wild for the Saturn. There's a big collector's, you know, out there. People like it, for sure. Kind of reminds me of Star Fox a little bit. Visually it looks great, especially in HD. Go and exit. 32X. The Sega CD. I'll show you the Virtual Boy. Only a handful of games. I actually like the Virtual Boy. It's one of those systems you either love it or hate it, and I actually really love it. A lot of fun games. Some really terrible games too, don't get me wrong, but I'll show you Jack Brothers. This is probably the most expensive and rare North American game for the Virtual Boy by Atlas. It's good timing because as a filming this video, it's during the October, so it's good timing with Halloween. Good theme. So it's a unique gameplay and it looks great. Obviously, through emulation, you can't really do the 3D. I have played emulators that do have it in 3D, and you put on those red-blue glasses, and it will kind of pop out in 3D, which is cool. But this doesn't do that. Wario World is definitely a game I recommend. Mario Tennis is a great packing game for the Virtual Boy. Space Invaders, which only came out in Japan, is another really fun game for the Virtual Boy, and it's a really rare game, but it's got a really unique perspective for Virtual Boy. I'll skip ahead and I'll show you N64 emulator. Emulation for N64 has gone a long way. It's been a while. It took a while for it to really work well, and there's a bunch out there now, but this is GoldenEye. Probably one of my favorite games. Like many of you, this is one of the top games for the N64. I'm sure many of you guys would agree to that. And just probably I have a lot of fun memories playing this game, multiplayer, but I want to show you some, what stood out to me playing this on the Odroid was just the HD and how crisp the graphics look compared to playing on a standard television. It just look brighter, looks more sharp. The controls for this game have not aged well, though, given that it's only got one analog stick, and just playing first-person shooters, there's a lot different controls nowadays. Nonetheless, this is one of my favorite shooters of all time. this and I think Halo really, and Wolfenstein to an extent too, and Doom, but this is just really, if it weren't for games like this, first-person shooters would be a lot different, in my opinion, today. The next platform I want to show you it's going to be the NEC PC 9801 or 9801, and this is a PC that is a personal computer in Japan, only released in Japan. NEC was a company that worked on the PC Engine, of course, and the TurboGrafx 16 here in North America, in Europe, and not a lot of these games, not people in North America, particularly Europe, really know about these games because they never were released outside Japan. But this one is a fun shooter. A lot of the games I noticed, a lot of titles are kind of anime themed, and they're cool. And this is a unique shooter in the sense that you play, it's like a head-to-head shooter, kind of different. It's kind of reminds me like Tetris / I don't know, 1942 style game. It's very cool though. It's very unique. I'm going to show you. The music is really, really cool, and it kicks in later on. It gets great. So this came out in 1997. So 21 years ago. It's crazy. We'll stick with the Halloween theme and go with a witch. Even though it was came out in Japan, a lot of these words are in English, as you notice. It's interesting. And the slowdown that does occur in this game is actually the slowdown that you get on the system. So it's not the emulator, it's how it was played on the system. There was some slowdown, a lot going on, a lot of different moving images on the screen at one time, which just naturally caused slowdown for these classic consoles and PCs in this case. This game would be really fun to play against someone. So much going on. Also want to show you the PSP and how it emulates on the Odroid. Outrun 2006, Coast to Coast. This is a really fun racing game for the PSP. Also ported to other platforms at the time, including, I believe, the Xbox and the original Xbox. I mentioned before that Sega was renowned for doing these racers, and this Outrun series was great. And the PSP just handles really good on this Odroid.
Get ready.
Get started here. Look how smooth that looks. The last emulator I want to show you in the platform is the original PlayStation. And let's check out Crash Bandicoot. It's a good series for the original PlayStation. So many games came out for the PlayStation 1. Thousands. This is by Naughty Dog, who has worked on a lot of games that you guys would recognize. The Uncharted series, for example, they did that. Anyway, as you can see, it plays smooth. Let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about emulation overall? For me personally, it doesn't really affect me from not wanting to buy games I want to buy. I think that's the case with a lot of people too. Just it's convenience. It's an opportunity to play games in HD and all that good stuff. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Please leave a comment below. Thank you for subscribing. That means a lot. And really anxious to see your guys' comments. And we'll see you guys soon. Take care and game on.